following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
We are back, in case you're wondering, with George Case. I'd like to introduce the man himself, Mr. George Case. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm just fine, Ralph. Thank you, and looking forward to this. We're calling this a hot stove session, so it'll be great. And we're now past baseball season, so this is the time for hot stove conversations, and we're looking forward to another session today.
Good. Would you introduce the panel of guests for us?
Yeah, I sure will. We have David Hubler. David,
hello.
The author. Hi, David, author of Gnats and the Grays. David and I worked closely on his book, and it was really an excellent analysis of Washington baseball during the war years. Ronnie Vervinovitz, who we're hoping, Ronnie, you sound like you're off the DH, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm coming back.
Good.
Thank
Well,
you.
Ronnie is very much involved with baseball and Jackie Robinson, and we can probably touch on some double play combinations with the Brooklyn Dodgers in the course of this conversation. And then Alan Blumkin, and Alan and I have both been members of SABR for many years. Alan has tremendous knowledge of baseball history and should certainly make some major contributions to our discussion today. So with that, we have a terrific time with Ralph and with the subject of double play combination. So Ralph, if there's something that you want to get started with it, you can, and then we'll go on from there.
Well, I'll start by asking David Hubler and Alan Blumkin about the double play combinations that Jerry Coleman, war hero, great second baseman, slick as hell, was he that good at second? How did he and Rizzuto do? And was there a fall off when he went back in the service and Billy Martin won the second base job around 53 or so?
Yeah, well, you're testing my very early knowledge, but I remember Coleman and Rizzuto working very well together. I think Joe Collins was their first baseman for a couple of years, and then Billy Martin came in, and of course Martin was quite good at second base too. Unfortunately, his off the field antics got him kicked off the team literally a few years later. But yeah, they were quite good. The Dodgers had a very good double play combination.
Oh yeah, they did too. Yeah.
Jackie. Right, go ahead. Yeah.
Pee Wee, Jackie, and Gil Hodges. That was a great combination.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember the Giants double play combination.
Doc and Stanky.
Who and Stanky?
Yeah, Eddie Stanky and Alvin Dawkins. And
oh, sure.
Stanky left after 1951 to become manager of the Cardinals, and David Williams slid into the second base, the second base slot, and he was very good for a few years before he suffered a back injury during a game and had to retire.
Alan, would you talk about Jerry Coleman a little bit? Was he?
Yeah, this is. I was like
better than
7, 8 years old, so I really didn't see him before he went into the military, where he was recalled into the Air Force for the Korean War. From all the accounts I've read, is that he and Rizzuto were a very, very smooth working team. And, what happened when he was called up again, Billy Martin took his place there. And then when Billy Martin was called up after the 53 World Series, there was a whole cause célèbre about that because, the people felt that they were picking on him because of his World Series heroics. Coleman really didn't have enough left. And the year that Martin was in the Army, in 1954, most of 1955, the second baseman became Gil McDougald.
Yeah, and then moved over to third.
Yeah, he started at third.
Right, that's when he won Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and he moved to second base. Casey Stengel liked all his infielders to play multiple positions.
Now, Bobby Brown had played third
prior
to Gil McDougald coming over.
Yeah, but Bobby Brown couldn't field very well.
Well, but he played.
Yeah, and he was in the he was called up for Korea also. He
You're right.
This is basically the same time as Coleman, but and when Rizzuto faded in 1954-55, McDougal was shifted to shortstop. He made all-star teams at all three positions.
And they won championships.
Yeah.
Him playing at regular at all three positions.
Yeah, he handled them all very well.
One interesting thing I remember about Rizzuto, and Alan, you may know more, but I don't remember McDougal ever showing up for Old Timers Day.
Never what?
You?
Sorry,
for Old Timers Day, when they brought off.
He had a hearing problem that wasn't rectified until they came out with the cochlear implant.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with showing up for Old Timers Day?
He just, felt uncomfortable. I remember going out to Long Island to a baseball card show out there and to get his autograph, and he had one of his sons, doing all the hearing and basically talking for him. When he got the cochlear implant, and he was able to hear things for the first time in years, he did show up with a couple of them.
Oh, he did? I thought
he was very, very, self-conscious about the hearing disability.
Yeah. Well, I thought there was something.
In fact, when they put that device in, that enabled him to hear, it made front page of the Times.
I understand that he lost his hearing in a...
he was hit by a line drive in a batting practice off the bat of Bob Serve, Yeah.
Good man.
And he always said that the heart of the game went out went out for him after the Herb Score incident.
Oh,
so yeah. Never the same.
Yeah, well, that incident,
that,
that incident happened, and I remember that distinctly. And McDougal, he vowed that he was going to retire if Score lost his fight. And then, later on, as you mentioned about McDougal losing his hearing, being, he later became the baseball coach at Fordham. And was around the New York area for quite some time. I think Gil passed away a few years ago, but he also had that very unique batting stance. If you
right.
That. With his front foot was way in the bucket. I mean, it was really a strange. That was the way he hit. And as Alan mentioned, a lot of the ball players who played for Stengel and some other teams. A lot of the managers did like their infielders to be multiple in various positions. So you're talking about McDougal at third, short, and second. That was not unusual. And, Ronnie can certainly talk about that. The Dodgers were the same way.
Right. Just let me interject 1 second and just sort of round out the story for people who might not know. Herb Score then went on to have a very long and successful career as a Cleveland Indians announcer.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, he sure did. He was very good, and he came back, and he never, from my understanding, he never really talked about the fact that he altered his pitchings, because he was a little bit gun shy. But he just claimed because he had arm problems, but he just said that was what it was. It didn't have anything to do with McDougal, the hit into his eye. But as a former player myself, I can tell you that it certainly had to have some kind of an impact, mentally at least.
Sure.
Because that's one of the scary parts about pitching is a line drive coming right back at you. You have virtually no time to react.
No, that's right.
George, who were the double play combinations when your dad played with Washington?
Well, there were a couple. I mean, Washington was never that. I mean, they were good, but they were never that strong defensively. But up the middle, I mean, they had Cecil Travis and they had Buddy Meyer, and that was probably the longest double play combination that they had. Cecil was there for 3 or 4 years when Meyer was playing second, and Cecil had been at third, and they moved him. Bucky Harris moved him to short. He was very good. But he was better as a hitter than he was really an infielder. But that was their double play combination, and Buddy Meyer was a terrific hitter and did extremely well. And he and my dad and Cecil, they were all good friends and contemporaries, but I think that Washington would never be classified as having really one of the better double play combinations. They were very good, but they don't compare to some of the others.
Okay, George, we've talked about Cecil Travis a bunch on this airwave.
Right.
Tell me about Buddy Myers. Before my time, obviously.
Yeah, well, but Buddy Meyer, and we had Gary Sarnoff on with us a couple months ago. Buddy has written a book about the Washington Senators, 1933, the Wrecking Crew of 33. Buddy Meyer was part of that. Terrific hitter. And matter of fact, Buddy led the American League, I think it was in 1935 or 36, in batting average. He was outstanding. Doesn't have the recognition, again, playing in Washington, just like, Cecil Travis and, Buddy Lewis and Stan Spence and a lot of those guys, Mickey Vernon. I mean, they were some great individual players, but because Washington as a team struggled, they never really got the recognition. But Buddy Meyer was excellent. I think he retired in 1941, became a very successful businessman. I know Clark Griffith wanted him to come back to Washington as a coach, but Buddy turned it down because he was doing so well financially with his business opportunities.
Well, another interesting thing about shortstops, as we've noted in the past, that 1944 season was rather unusual. And in the World Series, played all in Sportsman's Park in St. Louis, Marty Marion went against Vern Stevens. At the time, they were the two best shortstops in baseball. Right. So it was an interesting combination there.
Well, it was, David, and you mentioned two really, really outstanding players. Marty Marion, a lot of people today don't recall the name, as well as Vern Stevens. His nickname was Junior, very similar to one that Ronnie can certainly talk about, who was a great...
Marty Marion was Slats. I think they called him
Slats Marion. I was right. Ralph, that was his nickname, Slats, because he was tall and thin, very rangy. And, and what David was saying, that 44 series, that was the all St. Louis World Series. And it was the Browns, believe it or not, who won the American League against the Cardinals in the National League.
The White Sox had a good combination between Aparicio and Nellie Fox.
Oh, yeah. And before that, Chico Carrasquel.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah.
And also,
of course, I have to mention one of my favorites, Groton Mazeroski.
Yeah. And Milwaukee Braves, Logan and Shades. That was a very good one, too.
Yes, they were. They were very solid.
Mazeroski could play with any shortstop. And, the rap against Groth was the same rap that they had against Lou Boudreau and Alvin Dark, as they didn't have much range, but all three of them knew where to play.
Who was the second baseman with the Cubs when Aaron E. Banks was at short?
Gene Baker for a few years.
Okay.
And then they traded him, and they had a number of guys until they hit on Glenn Beckert.
Yeah.
But they had one guy who died early.
Ken Hubbs.
Kenny Hubbs.
2 years and got was killed in a plane crash.
Yeah, Kenny Hubbs was in an airplane accident, similar to what happened to Herman Munson. So right.
Yeah.
Right in the midst of his career, and Kenny was, I guess he was piloting.
He only played 2 years.
Crashed his plane.
Yeah.
Right.
He was a good ball player.
And then wasn't it the Yankee pitcher who plowed into a building piloting?
Corey Lytle.
Corey Lytle.
Yeah, he plowed into a building on the east side here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And good pitch,
high-rise
no
apartment building.
Yeah.
That was his scouting report. Good pitch, no fly.
Yeah, right.
How about Archie Smith and the Cardinals?
Oh,
as he was a good shortstop. Terrific.
Somebody mentioned on one of the shows Dale Maxfield,
Dale Maxfield and Julian Javier.
Right. And
Yeah, but Dow Maxwell couldn't hit it at all. He couldn't hit it at all. He had to be a fielder.
Right.
He couldn't. Yeah.
I wanted to ask Ronnie, while you're on there, I wanted to ask you, who took Jackie's place? I think I know, but who took Jackie's place when he retired? I know Pee Wee was still the shortstop, but who was the second baseman?
Well, Gilliam played a lot of second base too.
Right.
And so did Charlie Neal.
Right.
Didn't they move Gilliam? They moved Jackie to left field because when they brought Gilliam up and put him at second base.
Yeah.
They had sold Pafko to the Braves.
Third base too. He played a lot of third base too, and I saw him play. Yeah. And then also left field.
Yeah, because they sold Pafko once they decided to bring Gilliam up. Yeah, in 53 they sold Pafko to the Braves.
Jackie had a game in 56 where he was playing left field, and a line drive went by him, rolled all the way to the fence, and he missed it. And that night we had dinner, and I said, Jackie, that was a tough play. He says, tough heck. He says, Ambrose would have had that. He says, I got to tell you a secret. My legs are gone. If I had to do it again, I would never have played all the 4 sports I did. And he said, I'll tell you a secret that next year I will probably be my last year in baseball. This was in 55, not in 56. And then after the 56 season, he did retire.
How old was he at that time? He wasn't a really old player.
37.
37.
Oh, okay.
37 or 38.
So it's interesting to hear you say that, Ronnie, about legs. One of the earliest memories I have of my dad telling me as a young man, he said, keep in shape, keep your legs, because when your legs go, you go. And that is so true in baseball. That's why you see so many pitchers in particular. They used to just run and run and run to try to keep their legs, because once the leg goes, then the arm goes, and that's it. So the same thing for
before the
a
game,
position
you
player.
would see them running out in the outfield, back
that's
and
right.
forth and back and forth. That's right. They all ran. You don't see that much anymore.
No.
Half the time they don't.
They're doing a lot more weight training and all that other kind of stuff. But in the earlier days,
there's a lot more injuries too.
The pitchers ran constantly, and they would do sprints in the outfield, and that was part of their daily regime.
You'd go out, for batting practice, you'd see those pitchers running back and forth in the outfield.
Right.
Yeah, between the foul lines and the outfield. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember
that was a better way of training.
Seeing Rashy Reynolds and Wopat and Whitey Ford do that. Yeah.
You didn't see the injuries you have now. So maybe running is better.
You guys mentioned Aparicio and Fox.
Yeah.
Who knows the most about Nellie Fox, or who knows something?
I know pretty much about him.
Of course you do.
I hated him when I was a kid, but the older I got, the more and more I appreciated him.
Okay.
Because he was such a pest to the Yankees.
Yeah.
I'll throw a little trivia in, some Nellie Fox trivia. He was a coach at Houston when Joe Morgan, not the manager, Joe Morgan, but the Hall
second baseman,
the Hall of Famer,
up, and
with the Reds.
Morgan worked with him for years. Morgan worked with Nellie Fox for the first few years of his career, and he credits Fox with really excelling.
Yeah, Fox unfortunately died from skin cancer. He was 47.
Wow.
In 1975.
My God.
But
T-shirt is 47.
Yeah, Nellie Fox. The White Sox got him from the A's for a backup catcher named Joe Tipton. After
he had a big wad of tobacco in his. I always remember.
And
he always had a big plug in his jaw.
Right.
And, Nellie Fox later, and you talked about him being a coach, but he also was a coach for Ted Williams when Ted Williams was managing the Expansion Senators.
Oh, wow.
He had a couple of relatively long consecutive game streaks. There was a story I read that Paul Richards was managing the White Sox. He tried to sit Fox down for a game, and Fox drove him so crazy in the dugout they sent him back out about halfway through. And he never struck out.
I remember his.
And he had this
bottle bat. He had a bottle bat.
Bottle bat, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think
way up on it, if I remember correctly.
But Paul Richards was the one who developed him into a because before he came to the White Sox, he couldn't hit very well.
Is Nelly in the Hall of Fame?
Yes, he missed.
Yes, okay.
The last time he was on the ballot, he missed by 1 or 2 votes, and then the Veterans Committee put him in several years after that.
I was without Veterans Committee.
Chico Carrasco was the shortstop before Aparicio.
Right, and they were both from Venezuela.
Yeah. In fact, they traded Carrasco to make room for Aparicio.
Where'd they trade Carrasco to?
To Cleveland. They traded him and Jim Busby for Larry Doby. Okay. And after 1955, and the hole opened up at shortstop for the White Sox, and they brought Aparicio up in 1956.
You're amazing.
He proceeded to become Rookie of the Year.
No, you're amazing. You amaze me with all your...
He's a walking encyclopedia.
A walking encyclopedia.
Well, you know, one of
those years, yeah. From the last few years, not so much.
You gotta brush up.
Yeah, it's impossible.
It will give you time to brush up.
I'm sure all of you look at box scores. You look at certain teams, you can name more than 1 or 2 of them, if that many.
Well, I tell you,
the way it is. There's so much turnover.
Yeah,
it's impossible.
What about
it's impossible to keep up with it?
Second and shortstop combination of Dennis Ryan and Eddie O'Brien. They were one of the most entertaining duos that I think baseball has ever seen.
I don't.
That's what
I don't remember.
Take Me Out to the Ball Game movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah. With Sinatra and
that was Sinatra and Gene Kelly. And who played the first baseman? Right,
Bruce Munson.
Right.
Yeah.
Nat Goldberg.
I've seen that a few times. Yeah.
And they sing.
Yeah. This is the same crew from On the Town.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. they gave up their Navy.
They were in the Navy, am I correct?
Yeah, right. They gave up the Navy for playing old-time baseball, supposedly like the old 1890s, 1900s baseball. Yeah, it was a very entertaining movie. And the song Ryan to O'Brien to Goldberg was the big song in the movie.
Hey, I've got a question for you Yankees guys. What's your opinion of Tony Kubek and Bobby Richardson as a double play combination?
Good
Great
point.
question.
Wow.
They were very good.
I think of the two, Richardson was the better fielder, but they did work very well together.
Yeah, and Kubek was called up in the reserves, and when they had the Berlin crisis, he was called up in 1961. He hurt his neck in the Army, and he was never the same when he got back.
Yeah, and he got hit in the neck
and
by that
Tom
baseball.
Came up with a big Rookie of the Year guy when Kubek went into the Army, and his career never.
No, that's because of this injury.
Well, I don't know if the other combinations. I don't know if how many of these other second and shortstop combinations, but I know one of the first things I ever did as a sports journalist was to interview Bobby Richardson in his rookie year. He was living at the Concourse Plaza Hotel, about 2 blocks up from Yankee Stadium, where a lot of the ball players moved to, especially if they were single. And I went up to his room, and Tony Kubek was there as well. They were rooming together, and Bobby Shantz, Yankee pitcher, and I think he pitched for the A's as well. He was also in the room. So Kubek and Richardson not only were a really good double play combination, but they also were roomies at the Concourse Plaza Hotel.
Yeah, Casey Stengel called them his milk drinkers.
Yeah.
Milkshake boys.
Because they had a bunch of guys who were carousers.
Right, yeah.
At that point.
Kubek was a very quiet guy, I remember. Richardson was warm.
When Richardson was ready for the majors, that's when they unloaded Billy Martin to Kansas City.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I used to run into Richardson at some ball games, and we always said hello, and he was a very, very friendly guy. Even at the Crackerjack Old Timers game, we just had a very brief moment to say hello, and then the skies opened up, and it just poured. The whole game was postponed. But, he was a very religious guy, still is, very religious. Kubek then had a really good career with the Toronto Blue Jays as an announcer. That was the last.
He did for NBC.
He also worked
for a while.
Kurt Gowdy, I think.
Gowdy
had to work together.
And when Kubek left NBC, when they wanted to make him a rover in the stands.
Yeah, well, I never liked. He was very too talkative for me. But anyway.
Raggiola, yeah.
And I always held it against him that he missed that ball that hit him in the neck. That we lost the World Series.
Bobby Richardson gave spiritual counseling to Mickey Mantle.
Yes, he did. Yes,
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Roy Clark, the guitarist who sang yesterday, who just died the other day, sang yesterday, the day when I was young, at Mickey Mantle's funeral.
Huh. Roy Clark died? I didn't.
Yeah, about 2 days ago.
He did. I think 2 days ago I saw that. Right.
I don't think I heard that either. No.
Yeah, he was 85, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's terrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because they talked about him when he was on Hee Haw or whatever it was.
Right.
He was
terrific
singer, but he was also a very funny guy.
He was funny.
Yeah, he did an Odd Couple episode with Klugman and Randall, which was very funny.
A great guitarist, very underrated guitarist.
Right.
Yes.
Sorry to hear that.
I didn't realize he died.
I just want to tell you, mortality, you're winning. And we concede. Why don't you just let up for a while?
Yeah, Kubek had to retire at age 29 because the neck problem was so bad, and they couldn't activate him for the World Series in '64, and they used Phil Linz at shortstop during that series.
The harmonica man.
Yeah. And then Richardson retired the year after
there was a big competition between Tresh and Linz for the shortstop job.
Yeah. Tresh wound up in the outfield.
Right. Linz was a pretty good ball player. For what it's worth.
You all heard the story about Phil Linz and his harmonica on the team bus.
Yes.
With Yogi and Linz is playing the harmonica in the back of the bus after a loss, and he's sitting there with Mantle and Yogi telling him to knock it off, and Phil says, "I can't hear him, Mick. What did he say?" And Mickey says, "Play it louder." He plays it louder, and Berra gets incensed and goes back and grabs it from the harmonica out of his mouth and throws it and hits Moose Scourin or something. But it was a hilarious thing that Mickey came up with that quick.
They said Yogi. The only other time Yogi got that mad was on the Robinson steal of home in the 1955 World Series.
Oh yeah, when he bounced up and down, jumped up and down, and screamed. He to the day he died.
I know. He said he was out.
Yeah.
Well,
somebody posted a picture.
Ronnie tells that story about Jackie and his wife always talking to Yogi.
Rachel would run into Yogi, and every time they ran into each other, Yogi would say "out," and Rachel would say "safe." They loved
somebody actually posted a couple of pictures on Facebook of that play, and Yogi Berra signed one of them, said Yogi Berra, he was out. Yeah.
I'll tell you something. No one could be as incensed as Berra was if he wasn't out. He couldn't act that. He just automatically, he was like, I think
he jumped up and down immediately. You can see it on the
video. Yes, he did.
I saw MLB Network did a thing where they took each the pictures real slow, and they claimed that he was safe.
Oh, really?
So I don't know. Yeah.
You can make claims either way. Ronnie, the first game I remember about Jackie Robinson, I was 8 years old. and we were over at my grandmother's house for, I think, Rosh Hashanah in the Bronx. And the last game of 1951 regular season against the Phillies, which Jackie saved in the 12th inning with a catch off Eddie Waitkus, and they hit a home run in the 14th to win it.
Yeah. Huh.
Did
Yeah,
they
he was
put the
quite a
television
ballplayer.
on during Rosh Hashanah?
What?
The what?
A radio, of course.
Okay, well, they broke all Jewish law, and
Well, there's no Jewish.
who's going to pay for that? Somebody's going to pay for that.
Yeah.
I'm
And
telling
for the
you.
radio, it doesn't count.
Okay.
Does it?
No, that's
The
okay.
radio doesn't count.
Now, Bill Mazeroski was nicknamed No Touch because the ball looked like it never touched his glove on a pivot.
Yeah.
He got into the Hall of Fame.
Because of that. Yeah, the home run helped a little bit, but there's a lot of flack when they put him in the Hall of Fame. I said they can put in Aparicio and Ozzie Smith, who neither of whom were Babe Ruth at the plate for fielding. I had no trouble with Mazeroski.
Right.
Although he told me at a card show, he didn't. I asked him about that years before, and he said he didn't think he hit enough.
David, you mentioned Vern Stevens and
Marty Marion.
And Marty Marion. Would they consider to be good fielders?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
okay.
That's what I mean. It was during the war years, but still they had long careers that transcended the war itself, and they were considered very good.
Yeah, Stevens when he came to Stevens when he came to the Red Sox from the Browns was installed at shortstop, and they moved Johnny Pesky, who'd been playing shortstop regularly, to third base.
Oh.
So he must have had something.
Must have had something, indeed. Now, let me ask you guys who go around the room. We've talked many times about A-Rod and Jeter. Do you think moving Jeter to third and keeping A-Rod at shortstop might have been better for the Yankees? David Hubler.
No, I don't. By the time A-Rod came over, Jeter had established himself as the Yankee shortstop, capital T on the, and from what I understand, I mean, A-Rod was not thrilled about going to third, but he recognized Jeter's having occupied that position, and they were so. I don't think it became a problem. If it did, I never heard about it. It might have been kept in the clubhouse, but I never heard anything about it. And they were pretty good together. I mean, of course, Jeter was.
I think A-Rod had a lot more range at that point, and it might have been better.
Well, he certainly did a couple of years later, when Jeter's last couple of years.
Jeter will supposedly. I read where Jeter would have raised a fit if.
Yeah, he might have. He earned that position, and he played so well that even through his final year, he didn't have the range, but he knew where the ball would be hit.
And we would be remiss if we didn't mention the longest playing the double play partnership of all time between Alan Trammell and Lou Whitaker.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up because I think they're acknowledged by a lot of people as maybe the best. They were outstanding. They did play together a long time, and I think some people have talked about. I think it's one of them is in the Hall of Fame, and one of them.
They put Trammell in last year.
Yeah,
I was really amazed that Whitaker didn't go in with them. Yeah,
That's right. I was too. I thought definitely they should have gone in together. They do some strange things up there at Cooperstown.
They sure do. They sure do.
Yeah. How about shortstop, double play combinations, shortstop, second base combinations today? I'd like to mention Correa and Altuve with Houston. I think they're terrific.
Absolutely. Excellent.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're the best. As far as I've seen the current crop, they're the best.
Okay.
They're very, very good. Yep.
Hey, we're right on time. This has been terrific.
Been fun.
We got to do something to get through the winter of no baseball. And
I know.
And the Stove League is a good start. So let's keep doing this, guys, and staying healthy. And
well, I had a quick story about the Hot Stove League. You know, but never mind. I'll tell it another time.
No, tell it now. But how did that name, Hot Stove League, get started, and what's that about?
I could probably check Dixon's baseball dictionary and let you know.
Okay. I thought you were going to tell.
No.
Elaborate on Hot Stove. What were you going to say, David?
No, that's what I was going to mention that, but I don't have the book. I have it here somewhere, but I don't have it handy. But what I was going to say too is that once baseball season is over and any baseball transactions show up in the little agate type, you know, miscellaneous or those things, I get really depressed. I look for baseball stories wherever I can find them in the newspaper, and
there aren't many there now.
No. Even a minor league trade I'll read. You know, just
now it's all the free agent stuff. And wait till somebody signs Harper or Machado, and then you'll be inundated with that.
Oh, sure. Well, that's what I'm waiting for.
Right.
Now it's sort of really very nothing.
Anything I'll ask you, David, about Bryce Harper, whether or not there's talk of him re-signing with Washington, or
there is. There's just talk. That's all it is right now. It's just talk.
I've heard rumors that he might go to the Dodgers too.
Yeah, he might, or the Cubs. Now I've heard the Cubs.
Yeah, they have all these guys coming to the Yankees here.
When Patty Chayefsky was a very well-known sports writer before he went into writing novels and plays and things, they asked him why he gave up, you know, writing sports, and he said February, because there's nothing, you know. It was just the dullest month of the year in terms of baseball, which is what he covered. He just February. He couldn't.
Now that's a piece of trivia. Patty Chayefsky was a sports writer.
Yeah.
Wow. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Okay, guys,
about
great
Machado
show.
going to the Yankees? Anybody hearing that?
What's that?
Well,
Machado is going to go to the Yankees.
That's also up in the air. You know, his behavior is not in keeping with what the Yankees.
No, a lot of people are turned off by him.
Yes, very much so.
Right.
He might be a terrific ball player, but you know what? His public utterances alone are enough to dissuade teams from throwing out $300 million for him. I think he's hurt himself immeasurably.
Bryce Harper to the Yankees? I think that would be
They have Machado coming to the Yankees. They have Harper coming to the Yankees.
No, the Yankees are looking for
starting pitchers. Half a decent starting free agent pitcher coming to the Yankees.
That's right. That's what they're looking for. A couple of
I've heard also that Machado
starting pitchers.
I've heard
they don't need him. They have so many outfielders. Where are they going to put him?
The Phillies?
Who?
No, I'm talking about that Machado might go to the Phillies.
Oh, maybe.
That. I don't know.
He'll go anybody that's willing to overpay him.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
He will never live down his...
Johnny Hustle.
Hustle is not in my DNA.
Yeah.
Listen, in the playoffs of the World Series, I don't remember which.
Right. It was. That's right.
You know, someone once said you can't teach speed, but you can get somebody enthusiastic about what he's trying to do.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a changing game and a changing world.
It is. That's true.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Just take care.
Thank you.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Say it one more time, Al.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Okay. Be well, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Bye-bye.
A quick commercial,
Bye-bye.
George, before we go off, if you would.
Hey, I'm still here. Yeah, I just want. Yeah,
commercial.
thank you, Ralph. Yeah, our DVD is Ballfield to Battlefield and Back, FDR to JFK, color footage of World War II era baseball. Very, very well done, very interesting, tremendous amount of comments about people who have seen it, and we've been marketing for the last couple of years, and we have a 10% offer. It's $29.95 if you use the GWC promo code based upon our conversations on this podcast network. My email address is case67@verizon.net, and I will supply you with a 10% refund check upon your order. It's a great gift for the holiday season. So that's my little commercial about our DVD, Ballfield to Battlefield and Back, from FDR to JFK.
Beautiful. George Case III, and we're out of here. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Adios. The proceeding was a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production. Thank you for listening.